What is up, everyone? Welcome back. Happy Monday. I hope you're all doing well. Now we're back with more basketball content. And with this video today, I was trying to, sort of brainstorm ideas of what I should upload. Now, initially, I wanted to upload another LeBron video, but then I uploaded a video about Shai, which you guys should check out. Just uploaded that yesterday. And then I thought, you know what? We'll do Shai, and then we'll do LeBron, and then we'll move on. But a lot of you guys have been asking me to make a video or react to a video by High Roller. And he has a lot of videos, man. I could have chosen one for LeBron, but I kind of want to change up the content. So we only... when was the last educational type video we made? I think it was... if I remember correctly, it was the history of the NBA. It was the history of the NBA. Yeah. So, and then I think, yeah, after the history of the NBA video, I reacted to 2 or 3 more players. And, today I got back to work, guys, all right? I woke up at 2 a.m., had to work. It was a short shift, just 4 hours, 3 a.m. till 7 a.m. Man, I was like, I'll take a nap, wake up, plan the video, right? Woke up, didn't think of the video. This is after my nap, like when I came back from work. I had lunch, and then I slept again a bit on the couch watching wrestling, a new episode of Raw. And I realized, like, oh shit, it's almost 4 o'clock. Gotta actually put in the effort now and make the video. So I was scrolling through the comments, right? And I'm trying to think, what video should I react? Should I react to a video of LeBron that High Roller uploaded? Or should I do something different? I was reading the comments from the latest video I uploaded with Shai. And one viewer suggested that I react to this video right here. The greatest MVP race overall of our time. Now, this video is his latest video, uploaded 1 month ago. You guys should check out. I'll leave his the link for this video in the bio. And I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? I've just uploaded a video on Shai. I have 2 videos dedicated to Jokić. And my first 2 videos that I uploaded part of the series were videos about Giannis. And I'm pretty sure they're the 3 finalists for MVP, if I'm not mistaken. I remember looking this up yesterday or the day before. So then I'm like, you know what? Let's react to this video. This kind of makes sense. And yeah, I mean, I was just convinced very easily with this idea. I'm like, yeah, you know what? We just uploaded Shai. We recently did 2 videos on Jokić. First 2 videos of Giannis. Now, I'm not too sure if this video is going to cover Giannis as well, because the thumbnail for this video was SGA and Jokić. So we're going to go with the flow and just, yeah, we're going to watch this video. I'm sure it's going to be good. You guys have been asking me to react to videos from High Roller. Here we go. Also, let me know in the comments what other videos by his channel you guys want me to react to. I know my English is all over the place. I'm sleep deprived. I didn't get to nap properly. Been up since 2 a.m. I've talked enough. Let's get to watching.
We are now just a few weeks away from the end of the 2025 NBA regular season. And by this point, the MVP race is usually all but wrapped up.
Hopefully this coffee actually helps.
What do you do when there's 2 MVPs? History says you vote for the guy who is leading his team to the most wins of any team in a decade while putting up prime Michael Jordan numbers. Very clearly the best player on the best team, which should make this decision pretty obvious.
All right.
Except it's not. Because history has never seen a season like the one Nikola Jokić is having. It's better than this one, and this one, and this one. In fact,
surprise.
It is possibly the most impactful season anyone has ever had. 2 all-time great campaigns, and only 1 trophy. It is the greatest MVP race in recent history, and it has left voters completely torn, questioning what it even means to be the NBA's most valuable player.
All right, let's get this.
Today's video is sponsored by DraftKings.
Oh, we
The
got
most
Shai up.
compelling case someone can make to be the most valuable player in the league is to put up the best numbers in the league. This isn't the only ingredient to the MVP recipe, but it's a big one. And right now, Jokić and Shai aren't just having the two best seasons in the NBA, they're having two of the best seasons of all time. Just looking at some simple box score numbers, Nikola Jokić jumps off the screen like
Holy
the obvious
shit.
favorite. A near 30-point triple-double on nearly the best efficiency in the entire league, and the first player to ever be top 3 in points, rebounds, and assists. Numbers that make Shai's season look a bit pedestrian, despite being historic. 33, 5, and 6 on at least 60% true shooting is a stat line that has only been achieved by 3 other players in the history of the NBA.
Oh,
Michael
Luka?
Jordan, James Harden, and Luka Doncic across 5 different seasons. Although none of them were as efficient from the floor as Shai is this season. However, box score numbers by themselves have never been quite enough to compel voters. Of these 5 previous seasons, only one of them ended up winning the MVP, Michael Jordan in '88. And to pull it off, he had to also be the best defensive player in the league. In the case of Jokić, there's only been one season in modern NBA history that compares to his, Russell Westbrook in 2017. And that season, he was the run.
A lot of you guys have been asking me to react to Russell Westbrook. I could sort of change up plans. So if you guys want to see the next video be about Russell Westbrook, let me know in the comments.
Away MVP, receiving 69 of the total 101 first-place votes. The glaring difference between these two seasons? The mile-wide gap in their efficiency. Nearly a decade and some of the most absurd statistical seasons later, and the upgraded version of Westbrook's MVP season not only doesn't warrant a runaway victory for the award, it may not even win it. But these numbers hardly even scratch the surface of the impact and value these two provide every game. If we take a deeper look into some of their more advanced numbers, we can see just how remarkable Shai and Jokić have been this season and why the MVP race is as close as it is. To put into perspective the caliber of season these two are having, LeBron at his absolute statistical peak had a box plus minus of 13.24. Steph Curry at his absolute best had a BPM of 11.94. This season, Jokić has a...
Also, quick question. So, I was watching a video earlier, and they mentioned the box plus minus. Now, I don't fully understand what it is. I know it's sort of the point system that the NBA uses, but what does it normally... what does it consist of? So, what determines a box plus minus? I should have read more about it before making this video, but I was so out of it because I was so sleepy. I'm gonna read more about it after this video is recorded. But let me know in the comments what's sort of the guideline around the box plus minus.
Box plus minus of 13.21, and Shai is at 11.58. Choosing between Jokić and SGA this season is like picking between 09 LeBron and 2016 Steph. Good luck. For the last half-decade, Jokić has led the league in just about every advanced metric by about a mile. But this season, Shai has threatened Jokic's spot and even dethroned him at times as the best player in the league. A feat that in and of itself is probably the most impressive thing he's done all season.
Oh, 100%.
On any given night, either one of them can look like the most impactful player on the planet. And even looking at advanced numbers, the edge is only slightly in Jokic's favor. Crafted NBA has Jokić as the best player in the NBA this season, with Shai right behind him, and then a really big gap, and then everyone else. Estimated plus minus, on the other hand, has Shai as the best player in the league this season, with Jokić right behind him, and then huge gap, everyone else.
And then what's the plus minus?
A quick glance at any of these catch-all statistics will tell you that Jokić and SGA are both historically and almost equally as dominant this season. Fortunately for those who are put to the difficult task of choosing between Jokić and SGA for MVP, these numbers have never been a direct indication of who will or who should win the award. Over the last 2 decades, the best or most impactful player in the NBA in any given season, according to some of the best advanced metrics, ended up with...
So stats doesn't equal MVP. Crafted plus minus leader. See, this is all new terminology for me. So I'm not too sure what these mean. I'm sure someone or some of you guys watching this video will comment. You guys have been helping me a lot, so I'm sure you guys are gonna leave a comment in this video explaining what these are, but I'll have a look at as well after I'm done recording this video and read about it. But I mean, if you look at the stats, Jokić, First, second, first. But then also you get to see Giannis. You get to see Giannis as well. Interesting. Russell Westbrook.
Winning the MVP award
Shai,
only about
Shai,
half of the time. Many times these are cases where the individual numbers were backed with regular season team success, but rarely have the numbers alone, regardless of how great they were, been enough to be crowned the most valuable player in the league. In fact, if putting up the best stats automatically made a player the MVP, voting for the award wouldn't even be necessary. So in terms of sheer individual numbers, there isn't a very compelling case to be made in either direction. Jokic's numbers are better, but without more context, their dominance from game to game is virtually the same. So we need to add more context.
Okay.
How are these performances impacting their team? And to what extent does their historic production lead their team to success?
Yeah, 100%. It's not all about the points, you know. Win a lot.
In most cases, when two players are having incredible seasons, the tiebreaker in the eyes of fans and voters comes down to how well their team is playing. The second ingredient to the MVP recipe: win and win often. 25 of the last 30 MVPs went to players who clinched either the first or second seed in their conference. And right now, the Thunder aren't just winning more games than the Nuggets. They are the fourth highest winning team in modern NBA history.
Holy
but
shit.
Recently, team success has held less weight in the MVP discussion than it has in the past. 3 of the last 4 MVPs going to players outside of the top 2 seeds. Nikola Jokić being just the second player in over 40 years to win the MVP, despite his team not even cracking 50 wins in a full season back in 2021. As if the voters have made the decision that the MVP isn't limited to simply the best player on the best team, but rather the player who has the largest impact on a winning team. And right now, there is one player in basketball who is impacting the game far more than anyone else. Here are the current top 8 leaders in the MVP race: Jokić, Shai, Giannis, Tatum, Mitchell, Curry, Mobley, and LeBron.
Oh shit, okay, so LeBron's in the race for MVP as well. My man Steph Curry, you guys know. Picked my team, Golden State Warriors. Down 2-1. Now, Jason, he's a player that you guys have been recommending me to watch as well. These two guys here, new to me, not familiar. Yeah, this is what I saw. So when I was looking it up, I saw Jokić, Shai, and Giannis. So, I mean, look, I hope this video covers Giannis as well, but I think it's mainly going to focus on these two. Also, someone recommended me I watch Giannis' story of how he started and how he got into the NBA, became one of the best. So I'm going to watch that eventually, very soon. Very soon.
And here are the net ratings of each of their teams. Shai has put on a masterclass all season, leading the Thunder to be not just the most dominant team this season, but the second most dominant regular season team in NBA history in terms of net
crazy.
rating. And for many people, the overwhelming team success the Thunder have had this season is enough to push Shai into the lead for the MVP. But value isn't just when your team wins. It is how much your team depends on you to win. If we look at each team's net rating when their MVP candidate is on the floor, it is clear that the Thunder are easily the best team in the league when Shai is on the court, with an absurd net.
That is crazy how, it's crazy how the Lakers sort of decrease, man, like plus 0.2, and I'll understand the scores more when I read about the scoring system. Well, damn, Oklahoma City.
Net rating of plus 18.3. This means that when Shai is on the floor, the Thunder are nearly 20 points better than their opponents per 100 possessions, followed by the Cavs with Mobley, the Cavs with Mitchell, and the Nuggets with Jokić.
That's insane.
But the most revealing measure is the difference a player makes for their team when they're on the court versus when they're off the court, where Nikola Jokić jumps out as by far the most valuable and important player to his team in the entire league. His presence on the floor is the difference between the Nuggets being a net negative 8.2 points, bordering the worst team in the NBA, and a plus 10.6, one of the best teams in the NBA. For many of these MVP candidates, their team can still compete at a high level even when they're off the court, like the Celtics without Tatum, the Cavs without Mitchell or without Mobley, the Lakers without LeBron, and the Thunder without Shai. Steph and Giannis are the only other MVP candidates who elevate their teams from below average to title contenders.
That is actually insane. Now I'm not sure exactly, you know, the data that they used to sort of measure all of this, but it's crazy to me how without these guys, without, you know, Jokić, Giannis, Steph, it's crazy how much of an impact they have on their team. It is insane. But look at Jokić, man. You take Jokić off, boom, goes all the way back, man. Imagine. Now I know Giannis is good, man. I haven't seen him play a lot. I gotta watch some of his older games. Steph Curry, I've seen a lot of posts, a lot of videos saying, man, the Warriors need Steph Curry. The Warriors are gonna lose without Steph Curry. It's an interesting situation that the Warriors are in, man. They won the first game against the Wolves, but yeah, they lost the second and the third game. There's no return date for Steph Curry as well, so it's going to be very interesting. Someone in the comments said, I can't remember the exact words. I think he said, like, you know, welcome, as in because I chose the Warriors, but then he says, you could have chosen a worse time, you know. Now you're watching the worst game of the history. Oh, man.
But without Jokić on the floor this season, the Nuggets are nearly the worst team in the league. Now, it's worth considering who these players play around when they're on the floor. A rotation that tends to keep starters together is bound to favor those in that starting lineup compared to a rotation that pulls and plugs periodically. For example, if Jokić tends to play with starters more often than not, but SGA is constantly playing with rotational players, Jokic's numbers are going to appear better on paper because he's playing alongside a better group. And so I looked into this. How many possessions these MVP candidates have played this season, and how many of those possessions were exclusively with the starting lineup. And it turns out that Nikola Jokić does have the benefit of playing with the best players on the Nuggets more than any of these other candidates play with theirs. 17% of all of his minutes on the court coming alongside the Nuggets starters. For comparison, Steph only plays with the Warriors starting lineup 9% of the time. But in most cases, this number is negligible. For example, Giannis plays with the Bucks starters virtually as much as Jokić plays with his. And at most, the difference in time these players see on the court with their best unit varies by less than 10% of their total playing time. In other words, it doesn't really matter who Jokić is playing around. He rises the tides for his entire team significantly more than anyone else in the entire league. In fact, according to Cleaning the Glass, when you translate these on-off splits to an estimation of impact on Denver's record, the Nuggets are a staggering 45 wins better as a team when Jokić is on the floor versus when he isn't. For comparison, Shai's on-court impact on the Thunder projects to them being about 15 wins better as a team. But this is where the discussion becomes a matter of what you value most in your most valuable player. Because while Jokić elevates the Nuggets to one of the best teams in the league, Shai elevates the Thunder to being one of the best teams of all time. Is it more valuable to drag your team from being bad to being in title contention? Or is it more valuable to elevate your team from title hopefuls to overwhelming title favorites? This is essentially what the MVP race is boiling down to. A player with ungodly numbers propelling his team to compete at a level they have no business being at, or a historically great scoring juggernaut who is the sole leader of the best team in recent history. And the answer to this question may boil down to a third and final ingredient to the MVP award, a factor that is often ultimately decided who has won in the past and will more than likely be the deciding factor this season.
What is it going to be? I'm curious. Come on, tell us. A story worth voting for.
In ESPN's most recent MVP straw poll, 100 members of the media were asked to cast their vote on who they thought was the MVP of the 2025 NBA season. The results? Within the top 5, Donovan Mitchell received 0 first-place votes. So did Tatum, and so did Giannis. Nikola Jokić received 30, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander received 70 of the 100 first-place votes.
That is
so
crazy.
far, the media has spoken, and they think Shai is this season's most valuable player. But in more recent surveys asking players, NBA executives, and NBA analysts, out of the 25 votes that were casted, 18 were in favor of Jokić, and only 7 voted for Shai. Which brings us to our third ingredient in the MVP. Narratives. Beyond what you do on the court, the story has to be in your favor as well. And at the moment, every narrative is beaming directly at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to become this season's most valuable player. First and foremost, he is the best player on the best team, a formula that has led to more MVPs than any other. While Jokić is fighting the uphill battle of voter fatigue, Shai is ripe to receive his first MVP. He's not just having a great season, he's having an all-time great individual season. He plays both sides of the ball. He is the leader of the NBA's brightest young team, and in a league that's been searching for a fresh face, Shai is front and center. SGA has what I consider to be the perfect MVP resume this season. He checks every single box for what you would want in your most valuable player. He has the marquee performances, he has the momentum, he has the caliber, and of course, he's never won it before. But narratives can also lead us astray. They can allow our emotions to dictate how we perceive what we are actually seeing. And that's where precedence gives us points to reference in search for the most fair and accurate conclusion. It allows us to not be prisoners of the moment, but instead consider the history of the game and the unwritten rules we've abided by up to this point. Precedence tells us that no matter how great a player is, winning 4 MVPs before making it to the finals even twice is completely unheard of, even for the greatest players to ever play. For this same reason, voter fatigue is a frustrating but very real thing. If the MVP award purely went to the most valuable player in the league every season, Michael Jordan and LeBron would each be sitting on about 8 of them right now. Instead, the award sort of blends from one season to the next, taking in the context of everything that came before it and the consequences of it. Decades ago, MVP voters decided that the award was not reserved for the best player or even the player having the best season. Instead, it was an award that had multiple ingredients, multiple boxes that needed to be checked off. But even by their own criteria, what qualified a player to be the MVP was changing all the time. If it was simply the player having the best season, Michael Jordan would have won it about 8 times. If it was the best player on the best team, Michael Jordan would have won it about 8 times. But instead, he has 5, which has essentially set a firm benchmark on how voters vote for the
Well, I mean, look, 5 is not that far off from 8.
Foreseeable future. Voters messed up by not rewarding MJ with the number of MVPs he rightfully earned, and so every player that came after him is held to the same arbitrary, convoluted standard. As one fan put it, sports writers regret not giving Jordan all the MVPs and now punish everyone after that like it's a Supreme Court case and not just something they could change at any time. A case of we do it this way because we've always done it this way. The MVP award should be given to the most valuable player in the league, but it's not quite that simple, and it never has been. To make the argument that Jokić deserves the MVP because he is objectively having the best season in basketball right now would be the most logical conclusion. But it would also be ignoring the 78 years of history, tradition, and expectations that we have come to follow. Based on the responses to this discussion so far, it appears that now more than ever, the players and the people involved in the NBA from game to game view the award as a reflection of simply who is the best, most impactful player. And the media looks at it through the lens more of story and narrative. And in the end, it is the media who gets to vote. With less than a month left in the regular season, the race for the MVP only seems to be getting tighter with each game. And in what is shaping up to be the greatest MVP battle we have ever seen, voters will have to either stay the course and vote for a player that is built in your perfect MVP case, or make a rare exception to a player that is quite possibly having the most impactful individual season in modern NBA history.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be one hell of a battle,
And in
man.
what is shaped
You know, I honestly think both Jokić and SGA deserve the MVP. Now, from memory, Jokić has won 2 MVPs, if I'm not mistaken. MVPs. Okay, so he's won 3 MVPs. Sorry. Okay. Now, with this argument, Jokić 3 MVPs already: 2020, 21 season, 22, and then 2023 and 2024 season. So now a lot of people are saying that Jokić deserves to win his 4th MVP. Some say that it's going to be rigged, and you know he's not going to win the MVP. So a lot of people want Shai to win the MVP. It's also like how it was mentioned in the video. You know, they might be looking for someone new as well to win the MVP, which is also why Shai is heavily considered to be the MVP as well. I think that's what he meant from, was it voting fatigue?
Regular season, the race for the MVP only seems to be getting tighter with each game. And in what is shaping up to be the greatest MVP argument that Jokić deserves the MVP because he is objectively having the best season in basketball right now would be the most logical conclusion. But it would also be ignoring the 78 years of history, tradition, and expectations that we have a foreseeable future. Voters giving Jordan all the MVPs and
now I can't remember which part of the video, but I think the term was voters fatigue or something around that. So I don't know, man. You know, as someone who's new to the sport, it's kind of hard for me to sort of have a solid opinion on who deserves to win the MVP between Jokić and Shai. Both are amazing players, and like the video stated at the beginning, you know, Jokić, every season he plays, he just gets better. But at the same time, Shai, like mentioned in the video as well, has taken his team from being in a really good position to a much greater position. And I like how the MVP isn't just about how good the season was for that player. It depends on a lot of things. How impactful they were, how as well as how impactful they were, how they affect the team, you know, during the playoff games, the series, essentially. That graph at the beginning was crazy. I'm trying to look for it here somewhere. Yeah, here. This graph here. It is crazy how much of a difference Jokić makes on his team. He's off the team, and you know, it might be a bit of a struggle for the Nuggets. However, with Shai, you know, it has gone back quite a bit, but it's not as big of an impact as Jokić not being active in the game. Yeah, I mean, look, both are amazing players. A lot of people saying Jokić is the greatest player of all time, or at least in the NBA right now. But Shai is crazy, man. You know, I just covered a video about him. I've been watching him play in the playoffs. He is incredible. So it's a tough decision. Ooh, I don't know who I'm going for. But look, guys, in the comments, let me know who you think deserves to win the MVP. Are you team Jokić? Are you team Shai? Now, with these types of videos, I know I don't talk a lot, because with these sort of more educational videos, or the ones that have, you know, quite a bit of, you know, explanation in them, or statistics that you have, that, you know, you get. For me, I'm a visual learner. Voice crack, the fuck. I'm a visual learner. So you'll see me sort of locked in, and I'm trying to read, listen, visualize, and just understand what's happening in the video. So it's not me. It's not the fact that I don't have anything to say. If I pick up on something, I'll mention it. But for the most part, for these types of videos, I want to sort of listen, and I try not to talk a lot. So it's a more of a learning experience as well for you guys who are new to the sport as well. Or maybe you just haven't seen this video, and it's give you a new insight on, you know, the race to becoming the MVP. I know who's the most capable or credible player to win the MVP. But yeah, this was a great video, man. I'm going to leave this link in the bio, so make sure you show High Roller some love. Check out his content as well. I'm definitely going to be reacting to more of his content down the line. Let me know in the comments which one. Actually, in terms of LeBron James, I'll upload another video for him soon. Which video by High Roller should I react to do with LeBron? Let me know in the comments. Now, if this video's popped up in your feed, you've watched it, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have enjoyed it, consider hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what player should I react to in the future. Maybe there's a highlight video you want me to check out, or another sort of you know, more of an educational video like this one. I'm all for it. I've got a whole notebook. I'm about to finish up half of the second page, man. You guys have been giving me so much content, and you guys have been helping me a lot. You know, I read the comments. Maybe I'm a bit slow sometimes in replying, but I read the comments. I take your feedback, your opinions. I see you. I appreciate you all. Now, until the next video, guys, you take care, stay safe, and keep grinding. I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, don't forget, Discord links in the bio. I will be streaming on Twitch Thursday night, which will be morning, afternoon for most of you. NBA highlights for the first hour or so, and moving to Doom the Dark Ages. Now, as I was saying before, until the next video, take care, stay safe, keep on grinding. I love you all. Much love. Peace. See you soon. Bye.